Michigan gets a big win, bounce back win, 24-7 over Washington. That was the game I was at. And I wanted to touch on this one because of the style in which this happened. After that, I would call it an embarrassing loss at USC. There was a lot of conflict in that building and a lot of soul searching, I guess I should say. And they responded in a vintage Michigan way. And I was saying it on the broadcast, but that was a Michigan win. That was like watching the 2022 version of the Wolverines. Maybe not 23 version, but the 2022 version. They win it on the ground and they win it with defense. And Jordan Marshall was terrific. Underwood was great. I'm going to get to him in a moment. Their offensive line, even though they lost their left tackle during the game, Evan Link steps up as a redshirt freshman, and they were able to just pound the football at that Washington defense. And what that allows them to do is then throw the football in a fashion that helps Underwood be more efficient as a young true freshman. When you can play that physical and the defense has to commit that amount of resources to try to stop the run, here's what happens. You can utilize your tight ends and your running backs in the passing game. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And that's exactly what happened for Michigan. So now all of a sudden you're not sitting there just throwing the football because you have to, because you're down, you're behind the chains, and you're trying to get McCulley open, you're trying to get Marsh open. No. Now Marsh and McCulley become weapons in creative ways. The little flip reverse, a middle screen. You get the tight ends involved. I thought getting the tight ends involved, Tonelli was great. Zach Marshall was great. How about the depth of their tight end room? Those are the third and fourth tight end in their room, and they were tremendous. So that offense looked like an offense that has some sustainability. How do you get Bryce Underwood, who came in with the lowest completion percentage of any Big Ten starter, and get him to go 21 of 27 for, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns? Well, you run the football. You become Michigan. It's first principles. It's foundational things. You win on the line of scrimmage, and then you throw the ball when you want to versus when you have to. That's how you win at Michigan. Complementary style of game. Now, to do that, your defense has to hold up and be a really good defense. And that's exactly what happened against what I think is one of the more potent offenses in all of college football. Washington has some great skill. Great skill. Quarterback Damon Williams is a really good player. Denzel Boston on the outside, Jonah Coleman. Jed Fish does a great job with their scheme. And yet Michigan was able to hold up defensively and you look up at the end of the day and they've given up 7 points. They get a couple of interceptions. And then you realize the fashion in which it happened. They went back to first principles and foundational things for what Michigan has been over the last 4 and 5 years, which is a team that doesn't have to blitz every single play. Now, I know that that's Wink Martindale's MO. It's his calling card, are those blitzes. And he likes the single backer blitz. But when that happens, you manipulate the second level of your coverage in the passing game. You also present the opportunity to create seams in your run defense. Now, it only works if you can put pressure on the quarterback with 4 guys, which they were able to do with those edge rushers like Derek Moore against Damon Williams, which you just saw right there on YouTube, that sack on a 4th down. But when they didn't blitz as often, all of a sudden the defense became much more difficult to face. I think that this is where they need to sit. This is the vein in which they need to sit. They came into this game blitzing at a 50% clip. That was number 1 in all of college football. And in this matchup, they blitzed 20% of the time. Now, Michigan fans, I don't know if that means that's what the percentage will be moving forward, or if it was game plan specific because of Damon Williams. We'll have to wait and see with what Michigan does this next week at Michigan State. But I do believe that this is a better defense when they just play base defense. What they do is they make the opponent earn their way down the field. And when the opponent has to earn their way down the field, a small mistake here or there, an ill-timed throw, an inaccurate throw winds up as an interception. When that happens, you win the football game because the offense is controlling the line of scrimmage. So again, vintage Michigan. They're out there playing the way that they have for the last 4 and 5 years. And here's the beautiful part if you're a Michigan fan. They did it with a ton of young players. I was touching on this during the broadcast, but on offense, you're looking up and I'm sitting there and I'm counting all these guys and I'm like, holy cow, there's there's 6 true or redshirt freshmen on the field in that offense. 3 on the offensive line. Jordan Marshall's a redshirt freshman. Got the true freshman in Bryce Underwood. Andrew Marsh on the outside. He's a true freshman. It's like a lot of young players. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to be really good next year. Not that they couldn't be really good this year. Maybe they can. Maybe they continue to develop and turn into something that is 9-2 facing Ohio State with potentially a playoff spot on the line if they were able to win that game. But that's a top 10 team all day long next year. A lot of young players on the defensive side as well. At times, there were 3 and 4 redshirt freshmen in the defensive secondary, along with true freshmen. So Michigan's got a bright future ahead of them. That was a vintage win. And when they watch that film, they're going to be like, that's us. That's us. Now, if you go and you do that the rest of the way, I think that's the recipe for a really good back half of the year. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. And you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.